I go on the other side.
Guys, you good to go?
Guys, just go.
Okay, is this it? Or?
Ready? Yep. Okay, so hi guys. Before we've already heard that some other project is the future, we will show you some more future now. So my name is Tom Cruise, and maybe you have seen one of my most successful films, Minority Report. And you know, in that film Minority Report, I put up some like really fancy tech gloves, and then I stand in front of some really cool screen where I can just use my hand to flick around pictures and find the bad guys in the future, and then do a lot of cool stuff. And one thing that we have always thought about is that why do we not have such a thing yet, where we have some kind of cool interactive environment that we can control with gestures and so on. And we thought, well, if we don't have it yet, let's just build it at the hackathon. So we now want to show you our demo of our window manager that works in 3D with the Oculus Rift and a Kinect-like camera. And the idea is that you can walk around between your windows with which you are interacting and just have a look at what's going on.
Yeah, so I'll present some of the main features. Yeah, as you can see, I can walk around. It's pretty dangerous actually because I don't really see where I'm going. I mean, obviously there's nothing around me, so probably I can just move around. No? Yeah?
Not too much farther.
Okay, let's do some other stuff like, yeah, I can do whatever I want, so Kinect is stuck in my head. Someone push a button, I don't want to see this thing. Okay. Now maybe let's get to the most important feature. But actually I can point to a window, as you can see. Or just use any other ones. And moreover, I can just move it around where I want. Except something happened. I put it down there, but actually I can put it back there, so no worries. So yeah, I'm signaling with my left hand. Yeah, you can see it's pretty stable. Yeah, sometimes this thing shows up. Let's get some other windows here. I can have it here. I can put it there, or for example, I can just have something. And somebody's typing something. Okay.
So what you can see here is that this is actually a fully working Linux window manager in which you can start your favorite browser or your favorite text editor and actually use it as you go. And we think that this is pretty much as much Minority Report as you can get into in 24 hours. How exactly does it work? We use the Oculus Rift's gyroscopes to detect head motion so that you can look around in 3D. You can put some windows around you to actually like work on different things on different times. And we use the Kinect's head tracking to detect where you actually are and to detect the arms of your skeleton to do our interactive commands. We think that this would actually be a great thing to have for a programming environment or a working environment. And we think that working in 2D is kind of out, and that these days we have this really cool technology. We should really be able to work in a 3D environment if we desire so. And one thing that would be great for us is if, let's say, John Carmack, who is CTO of the company making these 3D glasses, if this guy would sit there and say, okay, my next game, I program it with my whatever text editor, and right next to it I have the 3D model that I'm currently working on, like the big monster of Doom, where you can see how it changes as you write the code, and it's all in your 3D development environment. And another thing that we thought would be pretty cool is if in the future, we're pretty sure that these devices at some point will not only be a passive viewing device, you put it on and you feel pretty lost, but I think that you can probably put some small camera in the front of this and overlay what you see with the real world. And then you could have all kind of cool stuff. For example, you could walk around in your kitchen and you would see a screen just blended over in 3D over your cooking hob, showing you what you want to do without you actually having to put some screens directly on top of your hob, which is probably not so cool. So you might have displays everywhere, and you could interact with them very naturally. So this is our project. All our code is on GitHub. You can use it right now if you want. You just have to buy these 2 devices. So price tag is around $450. I think that's pretty okay to get started with something from the future. And, this runs on very low spec hardware, so you could theoretically put this stuff on, put a little power supply in your backpack, and walk around like this. Currently, it's probably a little bit like low-tech stuff, but you can make these things smaller, and I think that in 10 years we will probably have something like this in our daily life. Thanks.
So I'm really looking forward to syntax highlighting in 3D, but what I'm not quite sure about is whether I would be able to program without having sighted my keyboard. So have you got...
Okay.
Have you got any way of establishing where your keys are?
Well, from our personal point of view, I don't think any of us looks at our keyboard while we're programming, but there's not really, so there's no real, there's Anyway, having one camera is not a limitation, so there's no real problem in just hooking up some other cameras and projecting the 3D scene that the other cameras see into your live working environment. So it would not be a problem to, let's say, attach another depth camera directly into the glasses, or put one sitting somewhere on the ceiling, so that you could actually switch between all kind of scenes. One of them might be a direct image of your keyboard, which with your working, or let's say you want to grab a mouse or something like this. You could just put this there and hang it around as one of the windows in your working environment.
There is a really cool library which allows you to detect your whole hand using the Kinect. At the moment it runs pretty slow on high-spec hardware, but in a couple of years we'll have the hardware which will be able to run it in real time. And we will be able to implement like a real-time keyboard with it. No, a virtual keyboard.
Right, thanks guys.